So what made you decide to write about that? I just recently met a pedophile who has changed, and he said it's so hard to get work because you have to admit that on every application or anything you do, and it's keeping me like broke and I can't create anything.
Right.
So when is it correct for us to say it's okay, they paid their dues, or when is it correct to say?
That's right. Well, I think they need the kind of support that only they have to be able to self-report.
Yes.
And they're scared to self-report, even if even if they've never offended yet, but they realise that they have this proclivity. It's such a taboo. Johns Hopkins is doing a study on this new demographic that they've discovered, which is self-reporting juvenile. They're like 16 to 20 or something pedophiles who have never been offended against, have never offended against anybody but don't want to. So they're saying, help, help, I have this natural proclivity, I don't know what to do and I don't want to hurt anybody. So they're now studying this heretofore unknown demographic, and that's because everybody's afraid to self-report. And the young man who was brave enough to start this off, who called himself Adam, he actually had to fight for recognition because psychiatrists were saying, oh, you are not, or whatever. He says, no, I have become addicted to porn on the internet of juveniles. And then I saw something which was so terrifying. It was a kid who was clearly being horribly, horribly treated, and I cannot be part of that. And he realized the impact of, the cost of child porn. There is no innocent way to participate in it. You are feeding a horrible, abusive, global monster.
Absolutely.
So this young man was extremely brave and had to fight for recognition, and is now part of a sort of a network of similarly minded young. So anyway, the point is that Johns Hopkins is now studying the organic nature of this. We're not talking about transfer offending, where it's done to me, therefore I do it to you. That's a different and complicating aspect. But they're talking about the organic, original nature of pedophilia. So
what was your angle with this article?
Well, it was about Operation Guardian. It was about the cops, but it necessarily talks about the types of people that they have to engage with. And one was a pedophile who was prepared to ring and say, help, 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 I'm in trouble, I'm going to trigger, I'm going to 100% likely to offend against this kid, 100%. And one was a guy who was very petulant and never did any courses in prison, and it was that aspect that really made people wild, that any convicted pedophile, and I didn't know what these people's crimes were. The police didn't disclose that to me. I don't know specifically what they did, but whatever he did was bad, and yet he was very as I say, petulant and screw the world, and you guys should help, the state should help me, whatever. But he didn't accept any therapy, which is a real red flag. So yes. My desire was to write about how fantastic this particular police station was for having the wherewithal to think outside the box and say, we need to try something new. Because these guys are going to offend. We've got 80 that of the most likely to reoffend, and we've got to try something. So they're trying this I call it it's almost like sponsorship, saying trying to sponsor their sobriety, and insist on self-control and be there a touchstone to sobriety.